If you don't feel comfortable doing wiring work, please consult a qualified electrician. Proceed at your own risk. Okay, we want to convert our oil burning forced air furnace to be able to run from a generator. We don't have a transfer switch for the whole house, which would be the ideal solution, but this way we can fix it so that the furnace can be powered by a generator, and this is how we're going to do it. So right now 120 volts comes into this box, and this switch turns power on and off to the furnace, which is this wire. So we're going to replace that with this, just a switched outlet. We're going to put that there, so power will come from here to the switch, and when the switch is on, the outlet's powered. And then we're going to take this wire, disconnect it from that switch, connect it to a pigtail, and then normally the pigtail will be plugged into here and the thing will be powered normally. When the power goes out, pull this pigtail out of here, plug it into the generator, and you can power the furnace with the generator. So that's the idea. So this switch can do a bunch of different things. You can have the switch control a separate circuit, or you can have the switch control the outlet. And we want the switch to control the outlet. And to do that, according to these directions here, we have to break off this little piece here and run a jumper wire from there to there. And here's the negative, or sorry, the neutral, and then the ground. And so the positive, or the black, will come in here from the panel. So we bent the little tab back and forth there, and it came out. So now these two things are not electrically connected to each other. There's a little tab, just throw that away. So take a short piece of wire, strip off the ends, and put it in there. These can just slide up in there and tighten down. You don't have to wrap them around the screw. They actually have a place where you can just slide it in there. So slide them both in, tighten them down, and you're good. So there you have it. Make sure you're clamping on the wire and not on the insulation. So I made sure that the metal part was clamping only on the wire. You don't want to clamp on the insulation. So anyway, there you go. There's your jumper wire complete. Now let's assemble this switch to this cover. Now, because this is an exposed work cover, it doesn't have the center screw, which would screw into there. So we have to take these two screws out, pass them through here, use the supplied nuts on the other side, and we'll attach this to that before we do any of the wiring, because it's going to be too hard to do it afterwards. Well, shoot, it doesn't fit. It's too wide. We're going to have to cut these ears off. Well, it can snap those parts up, but I think we'll have to bend that part up because it still won't fit in there. Oh well. Okay, so we had to break the tabs off and trim the ends with tin snips. It now fits. So we'll put the screws in, and put the nuts on and tighten them down. You want the serrated side to the piece you're bolting down so it'll bite into it and stay tight. In this case, both sides of the nut are serrated, so there's no wrong way to put them on. Well, that's ready to go. Screws and nuts are tight. Let's get it installed. So here's what we have inside the box. There's the wire coming from power, and it's switched. And then of course the two neutrals are tied together, and the ground is screwed to there. So we're going to have to make a pigtail and put it under that screw, because our switch has a place for a ground wire, so we need to ground that switch. So let's make up one of those and we'll be back. Got to knock out another hole in the bottom there. See that? We bent it up, and if you bend it back and forth a few times, it'll come right out. Okay, we're going to put one of these clamp connector things in this hole that we just knocked out in there. It's just like this one here. And we're going to move this wire over to this hole, and then our pigtail is going to come out of that hole. And we're going to splice the two wires inside this box, because you can't splice in midair. You have to splice inside a box. So the ground wire was wrapped around here and then was grounded by that clamp in the box, but we need to unwrap that because these three wires that feed the furnace need to be connected to the three wires from the plug-in pigtail we're putting in. So if you look, the white supply wire, the neutral, is too short to reach the switch, so I had to make a little jumper to fit on the switch. And there's a ground wire which will go under that screw, which has the other ground wire on it. So, and then the black wire goes onto that connection right there, and that one is long enough. So let's get that connected. I couldn't get both ground wires under that screw, so I added another screw and a nut, and this ground wire will go to the switch. So let's get the switch installed. So ground for the switch, neutral for the switch, which has to connect to that pigtail, and hot for the switch. Okay, so the switch is connected. Black to hot, white to neutral, and bare to green or ground on the switch. So that's all done. So the cord is a replacement power cord for a power tool. It's got a plug on one end and it's bare on the other. Heavy duty, 14 gauge, so don't get a cord that's too thin. Okay, we got the end stripped on the power cord, and then since it's multi-strand wire, I twisted them together. I have to just connect these to those, but we're going to do it inside of this box. So we'll put each of the cords through those two clamps, and then tighten the screws for strain relief, and then connect them up inside the box. So that's it for the wiring there. Just connect green to ground, white to white, black to black. Make sure you tug on all of them, make sure they don't fall out. That's it. All we have to do is tuck all the wiring into the box and screw the cover on, and we'll give it a test. So this will be normal mode of furnace operation once we turn the switch on. So it'll run like that. If you have a power outage, pull this out, plug this into an extension cord from the generator. That wire is connected to that wire. It'll power up the furnace. You can stay warm. All right, let's test it. Oh, the furnace is running. Perfect. Next step is to unplug it and test it with a generator to make sure that works. Just want to make sure my generator can power this furnace. It should be able to. It's 3,500 watts. So we got the Duracell 1000-watt inverter hooked up to the Ford pickup truck, direct connected to the battery, and it works. There's a drop light running off of it. Of course, the inverter continues to work even with the engine off, as you can see. Lights on. It's already got the battery down to 12.7 volts. So, depending how much you run off of it, it will run the battery down, but I could keep the truck running, plug an extension cord in there, run it in the house, and power up any number of things. Of course, we have a big generator as well, but this is my $20 alternate solution. Usually these are, I think they're 37 bucks on Amazon. Got this one on sale at Ollie's for 20 bucks, so can't beat that. Okay, we got our Duracell 1000-watt inverter hooked up to the battery in the 99 F-150. Let's see if we can run the furnace off of it. I guess we turn this on. Here we go. 12.2 volts. Okay, we'll try it without the engine running and go inside. So yeah, here's the cord. All right, we'll run it inside to the furnace. So there's normal furnace operation. So let's turn this off anyway. Unplug this and plug it into this wire here. Okay, we have it plugged into there. See if it works. Looks like there's not enough power to start up the furnace. I think the inverter has enough power, but the 16 gauge 125 feet of wire I needed to reach has cut the power way down. So we have this Champion generator. It's actually from 2013, but had never been used. There's a Will It Run video, link in the description, of how we got this generator running. But anyway, it's a 3500 watt generator. So let's see if it'll do this furnace. Okay, we have the generator running, making voltage. All right, let's go inside. We've got this 25 foot 10 gauge cord plugged into the 25 foot 12 gauge cord. We've unplugged our pigtail out of that outlet and plugged it into this 25 foot 12 gauge cord. Let's see if the furnace kicks on when we turn it on. Hey, look at that. Furnace kicked on. You can hear the generator running in the background. Whole furnace is powered off of that. There's the burner. Everything's on. We'll let it run for a while just to make sure it works. Let's go outside and look at the generator. It's powering the furnace right now. That's good. Looks like a success. Let's go back in and make sure the furnace is still running. Yes, indeed, it's still running off the generator. So you see, that was the power coming in from the fuse box. And that switch, it doesn't matter if you turn it on or off right now, because that's just powering that outlet. But the wires that run the furnace come up in here, and they're spliced to this pigtail. Just because you have to splice inside the box, they're not wired to any of the house power. So right now, the house power went out, or it didn't, it doesn't matter. The furnace will still run off the generator. You're not backfeeding into the main house wiring at all, so we're not going to kill the lineman by mistake. It's all legal, it's all good. So anyway, if the power goes out, we won't freeze to death. This has been Out of Order Garage. I'm John. Thanks for watching. Plenty of other videos to come.